Hello, everyone. My name is Snowball, and this is Sonic Origins. Sonic Origins is a really cool collection of Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles and CD. And in the Sonic Origins Plus DLC, it also added over here 12 Game Gear titles. But the very, very, very cool thing that Origins Plus added is playable Amy Rose. So, yeah. Amy Rose is sitting up here on stage with me. So this run is going to be Sonic & Knuckles Amy & Tails New Game Plus. The category name has to have all 4 members of Team Sonic. But since Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles are one title in Sonic Origins, you can really only do Sonic & Knuckles, at least with the Emeralds, going from a completed save file. So all of the Super Emeralds are on the table from the get-go, meaning Hyper Amy is on the table right off the bat. So, gonna give a quick countdown. Hopefully Tails is nice today, but we'll have to wait and find out. So 3, 2, 1, go. So first up, we have Knuckles. Ironically, Sonic is the only member of Team Sonic that we won't be seeing in the run. We will be seeing Mecha Sonic, but that's just not the same thing. So there's a big ring over here. I am going to take a quick detour to grab that because big rings normally take you to the special stages where you unlock the emeralds. Once you have all of the emeralds unlocked, then the big rings just give you 50 rings. And once you have 50 rings, you can go super, or in this case, hyper. There is a very noticeable difference between Super Amy and Hyper Amy that I will get into a little bit later. Probably towards the end of this stage, actually. But this stage is one of those Sonic levels where you want to make sure that you are staying on the top path as much as possible. That was a really good jump. Very happy that that went like that. And we are to the first mini-boss. So, 6. Okay, Tails is gonna get a hit in. You might have seen a little bit of a sneak peek of Hyper Amy's special talent. Also, I don't want to pop that ring monitor until it goes into Act 2. So yeah, Mushroom Hill Act 2. Knuckles is gonna be showing up again. He's gonna help us get right on over to the main part of the stage. Hey, Knuckles. So he's going to push that lever that creates a huge gust of wind that takes us up to the Autumn Forest portion of it, Mushroom Hill. Grab the bubble shield. I'll explain the elemental shield momentarily. Turn around to hit that mushroom so that way we can get up to the red spring, jump all the way over here. Big ring right along the path. And, all right, good. That's exactly how I wanted that jump to go. If you go too far to the right, then you hit the slope and sort of bounce backwards. And if you are too far to the left, then you'll just miss the platform and fall down, and it is very bad when that happens. Here's the first instance of Tails' control. Let's see what he does. He's not going to troll this part. That's good. So just levers. Doing the left one so that way we can get up by the elemental shields. It's, I think, ever so slightly faster, and also more rings. So here's Eggman. And now we see Hyper Amy's true skill. So if you mash the super hyper transformation button while you are Hyper Amy, she will just throw an endless stream of Pico Pico hammers at everything in her way. I have 2 very good names for that ability. One is somewhat serious, and the other is very silly. The serious one is Chaos Hammer Storm. The silly one is Chaos Home Depot. But now we are moving on to Flying Battery. And this is, for some reason, the zone that loves to give me the most trouble. So there is going to be a little bit of Tails hopefully cooperating towards the middle of Act 1. There's going to be me releasing a spin dash too early and then getting shot by a tank. I thought that we left all the tanks behind in UFO 50, but apparently not. So, now I will take a moment to explain the elemental shields. So in addition to giving you a little bit of an extra hit worth of HP, they all prevent you from taking some form of damage. The fire shield prevents fire or lava from damaging you. The lightning shield prevents electricity. And the bubble shield prevents you from drowning. The lightning shield also has a ring magnet attached to it, which is really, really handy. Tails is going to hopefully pull me all the way up to the top set of spikes here. And then because I have the fire shield, that won't damage me. I am going to pop Hyper now, which means I might not have it for the very end, but that is perfectly fine. I need to be very careful up here to make sure that I don't get crushed. All right, there we go. Bounce. And now because I'm in hyper state, there's no real risk of Tails getting away from me. Charge spin dash, spin around, and then go up and outside. So Flying Battery is one of the stages that returned in Sonic Mania, and one of my favorite changes in Sonic Mania compared to this version is these missile cycles. You only have to wait through 1 instead of 2 in Mania. Unfortunately, we need 5 missiles instead of like 2. But fortunately, you know, Amy just gets to stand glowing with power for a little bit longer, so it's all good. But this boss is pretty much an auto-scroller, so if there's any donations, now's a great time.
Oh boy, do we. How does $5,000 from Fangamer sound? Hey everybody, Fangamer here. We are excited to be back again as a sponsor for AGDQ 2025. For this event, we have an amazing new lineup of official GDQ merch where 100% of the profit supports the Prevent Cancer Foundation. Check out the full lineup, including our Race to the Finish hoodie, which features 11 of your favorite indie game characters at fangamer.com/GDQ. We also have some love coming in from fans of yours, Snowball. So $50 from Jade Anhinga that says, let's put the hype in Hyper Amy. Have time for a couple more?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. $50 from a tea tree saying, sending love from the back couch on behalf of both myself and the entire Fast Pace Events team and Knuckles. Good luck, stay hyper, and have fun. And then $10 from Red Link 101 that says, I have to donate for my girl Amy. Here's to a great run.
All right, so Flying Battery Act 2. Tails just took the thing away that I very much need. I'm not going to activate Hyperstate immediately because there's one part coming up, and it's this thing right here. I want to make sure that I get past that before popping Hyper, so that way I'm not moving too fast, getting crushed for no reason. I will pop it here, though, so that way I don't get hit by the jet of fire, and I'm going to slip right off of the spring, which is fantastic. Now I'm going to just run around circles. This stage is very, very different between the Sonic and Knuckles and Mania versions. And that makes both Flying Battery Act 2s in the series very frightening. Because I do run Amy in both of those games, and Flying Battery's always a bit of a tough cookie, especially on Act 2. I'm gonna just play this super safe and let those fall, so that way I don't get crushed and have to restart the stage. That would be very unfortunate. Here it's the third. I don't know what these things are, levers or something? I don't know. Another spot that I want to make sure that I'm very, very careful at, because you can get crushed by those things if they fall off the magnets. You can get crushed if you just walk into the side of this thing. Because Sonic Origins sometimes does things like that. But I absolutely love this game, so you know what, I'll let it slide. But now we are moving on into sort of a bit of a two-phase boss fight. We've got effectively Laser Prison from Sonic 2. But with a lot more HP, not too sure why. And then we've got a bit of an auto-scroller, unfortunately, to get to this next boss. There is a rising platform behind us that takes a very long time to catch up. But I want to get past this narrow vertical hallway before it gets up here just for comfort. So Tails is going to pick me up, fly me up here, and then we are going to wait for Eggman with his egg hanger, I think it's called. And it's probably just called that because he likes to hang around. But while we wait for this, more donations.
Sure thing. All right. I have $125 from Joel saying mad respect for SnowballSMB and all the Sonic speedrunners at GDQ from a Sonic game producer. Excited to share this run. Let's do our best to prevent cancer. Thank you so much for that, Joel. And we also, beautiful. And $25 from iSwimFly saying, so glad to see a good friend in her element, in her element, let's try that again, up on main stage at GDQ. Much love from the back couch.
All right, time for my favorite zone in all of Sonic. We've got Sandopolis. This is a really tricky set of 2 stages. Fortunately, Tails is helping me out right from the get-go. This is actually the one stage, aside from Hidden Palace because of how short it is, where I hopefully won't be going hyper. I say hopefully because things could go wrong and you never know. But going hyper on this stage doesn't actually really give that much of a benefit because of when I end up getting all 50 rings needed. This is a very, very heavy movement precision stage. All right, nice, got that jump up, that's good. I realize that I've not really explained Amy's special abilities. So she's got a Hammer Rush, which is a lot like Sonic's Drop Dash, except she can also turn 180 degrees and conserve all of her speed, which is very nice. The one downside to it is it's not overly fast. And of course, the sand slide stairs are going to be very, very cruel. And then she also has her little hammer spin in the air. That has a massive hitbox on it, which makes her a little bit of a boss destroyer, which is awesome. One of my other favorite categories in Sonic Origins is Amy All Boss Rush. Sonic Origins for the 4 main titles, 1 CD, 2, and 3 and Knuckles, have a special boss rush mode for each of them. And Amy's a lot of fun to run in that. But finally coming on up to the end of Sandopolis Act 1, I should be able to make... I'm not going to risk that. If I had been ready for it being partway down, I probably could have charged a spin dash fast enough to get through it, but better to not risk it. Fortunately, there is a checkpoint right next to that spot, so if I had been crushed, I would not have been going back very far. But here's the pyramid. We've got this big guy. He's got to come out the door and finish showing up, and then we're going to just walk over here. And more donations while we admire Amy's balancing animation.
Absolutely. Callie Mac N sends in $50 and says, pink hedgehogs are going zoom. We are so proud of you, Snowball. All of us in the Discord are cheering you on. Show them that pink hedgehogs are just as fast as blue hedgehogs. And $50 from Courtney Rail saying, gotta donate during the first Sonic game of AGDQ 2025. Very cool to see Amy and Tails playing through Sonic and Knuckles. Big year for Amy, and lovely to see 1,000,000% Muscle Guest appearing, even if he's an NPC during this run. And by the way, y'all, we have raised over $20,000 out of the $75,000 needed for that bonus game, Zelda Breath of the Wild. Keep the energy coming. I know you can do it.
All right, now we've got what is debatably the hardest stage in this game, Sandopolis Act 2. We are now inside the pyramid. And there are a couple of gimmicks for this one. There's the dimming lights, and there are the ghosts, and there are also these doors, I guess. Those light switches hanging from the ceiling will return the lights to their full brightness, and the ghosts will dissipate. However, over time, without hitting any of the light switches, the lights will gradually dim and the ghosts will grow bigger and stronger, as well as more of them showing up. After a little while of them fully showing up with their true power revealed, then they will continuously try to attack, and they can only be sort of shoot away by a spin dash, a jump, or turning the lights back on. So, but hopefully we won't really be seeing much of them because they can be a huge nuisance. Also, you might notice I am at 50 rings, but I am not popping Hyperstate, and that is because we are coming up to the second third of the stage. I sort of like to look at this stage as 3 segments, and this bit is a little bit of an auto-scroller. There's going to be rising sand. We've got to outrun it, open up doors, hit more sand later to go up even higher. But Tails is going to go way too high. Come on, Tails. All right, good. So this Tails could have grabbed me a little sooner and we could have gotten up here a little bit earlier, but Tails still helping out little bits here and there. It really is going to be Sky Sanctuary that I really want Tails to help out on, and actually I really want him to help out here. Yeah, turning the lights on there. And also here, I forgot about this door. This is really tough to outrun if Tails does not get you up here with a lot of extra time. Unfortunately, Tails is going to get crushed. He, for some reason, just keeps flying into that little gap. I don't know why. I tell him not to, but he doesn't listen. I am going to pop Hyper here because I'm currently so far ahead of the sand that I want to make sure that Tails does not get away and just get up here early. Also, I am pulling those levers for safety. I really don't need to anymore because I'm in Hyperstate. But now we are pretty much home free on this stage. There's going to be a lot of back and forth movement. Thankfully, I did not grab that little handlebar thing there. That would have been a bit of time loss because then Amy would have been stuck on pretty much a zip line that goes down very, very slowly. Let's see. I want to make sure I don't fall down there because that is very slow. I'm going to push this door on open. That's like way over here. Don't get crushed by that. Hit the checkpoint for safety because I don't know if you're supposed to be able to get crushed by this boss, but I've gotten crushed by this boss before, so I just want to make sure that, you know, I hit the checkpoint that's right next to the boss arena because, yeah, that would be very, very bad to get crushed by that boss and then have to redo an absolute ton of the stage. All right, now we got Lava Reef. This is another one of my favorite zones. Act 1, I always feel like I'm lost on, and every single time I go the exact way I need to go. I don't know why I always feel lost on it, but I do. There is a lightning shield right up here. I'm going to just jump into a fireball for literally no reason. Don't ask me why. The lightning shield, I want this for the extra hit and also the, more importantly, the ring magnet. This is going to be the one time that I go off of the main track for like rings as opposed to just a big ring. I was really hoping Tails was not going to jump up there with me because if Tails doesn't jump up there with me, then there's a pretty good chance that he'll actually open that door. And that just saves a little bit of time. Also, Amy's hammers can go through things. We saw that a little bit during the flying battery boss. Just going through the floor and hitting him when you're normally not supposed to be able to hit him. But also the hammers went through that wall and got those ring monitors, which is 20 extra rings, which is very, very handy because this stage is long. There are also these spiky platforms with these fiery jets. Hopefully I don't get crushed by any of them. There are a couple in some pretty precarious spots. Amy, please. Thank you. I kind of wish I had hit that checkpoint because I think I'm coming up to like the scariest of the, maybe not the scariest, second scariest, that one right there. The scariest one is right near the end of the stage, actually. It is in a very, very low ceiling hallway. So it barely goes up at all. And I think it's this one right here. It barely goes up. So you've got to really make sure that you're booking it through there or else bad things can happen. And shout out to that spring placement. Hit the door, checkpoint, and now boss. So Hyper Amy's increased jump height is very nice for one cycling this fight, or however you want to classify the cycles, because you can't get all of the hits on the hand that you need, but that's a minor issue. Now I'm going to actually menu to restart this next stage, so that way I don't have to walk down a long hallway and have to avoid a fire jet. And I will actually keep the lightning shield. Lava Reef, Act 2. Restart. And we're at the door. So this stage is one of the longest in the run, actually, and one of the most frightening, probably. I feel like I'm going to just be saying a lot of these stages are really scary in a speedrun setting, because there are just so many different ways for the stage to go wrong. I am going to go off the track ever so slightly here to grab this invincibility monitor, just so that way I don't have to constantly be damage boosting through... Oh gosh, that was scary. That was almost a disaster, because that is kind of late into the stage. Well, not really late, but it's not early. Fortunately, got past that fire jet before it started going off again. Hit a bad cycle on these boxes. Now we've got to wait a little bit longer. And these boxes are not as quick as Amy and Tails are. I don't know why I went back for that spring. I don't need to do that. Secret passage time. There is a big ring down these stairs, and also a button in the big ring chamber that opens up the exit door over here. I popped Hyper here, but Hyperstate will deactivate coming up very shortly. There is a bit of a screen transition coming up that takes you to the sort of like auto-scroller boss fight. Knuckles is going to help us get there by pushing this boulder. And once we get into this boss arena, Hyperstate will deactivate. This is very handy because this lets me put up Hyperstate during the main portion of the level for the increased speed, and then lets me not have the increased speed for the auto-scroller, where there are lots of ways that you can fall off of the stage and die and lose all of your rings, and that would be very bad. Since Hyper Amy has increased jump height and very much increased speed, she's very, very slidey on those platforms that I just got across. I have fallen off of those in Hyper Amy form and lost quite a bit of time because, and also made this fight even more tedious than it is. So Tails is unfortunately going to just be sitting in a lava bath for the next minute and a half or so. Fortunately, he is seemingly indestructible. I'm going to activate Hyperstate. Unfortunately, even Hyper Amy cannot damage Eggman in this fight. Eggman can also not damage Amy because Amy is Hyper Amy. So now we're going to just be standing here doing pretty much nothing. So great time for more donations.
Of course. How does $10 from Broken Hyperlink sound? Hello all from Ireland. Big shout out to our Lady Arcaders. You are doing great. Loving this crossover with Sonic, a very powerful combo. Much love and good luck for the rest of the run, Snowball.
Thank you.
We also have $10 from Pumpkin Spice saying, how much can $10 buy in the Home Depot attack? And by the way, y'all, we are just under a third of the way to that bonus game right now, so keep the vibes rolling. I know you got it. And if you want something else to donate towards, there is a bid war open for Metroid Prime about who wears the fusion suit. And right now that is at a dead heat, $140 to each donation. So if you want to swing it, you got to do something. If they, whoever gets it has to wear apparently very, very ugly suit for the whole game, like in the game, not in real life. I just want to clarify that. But it's 50-50 between Edzen and Vertigo right now. So if you want to make something happen, you got to make a move.
All right. Thank you very much, Tails, for helping me pop that animal capsule earlier than normal, and I just completely botched the ending of it by jumping way too early and smacking the wall. We're in Hidden Palace now. It's pretty much an extension of Lava Reef Act 2. Very, very short level. We're going to warp up here, and then we are going to be facing off against everyone's favorite Echidna. Fortunately, he doesn't really know how to handle adorable pink hedgehogs with giant golden hammers. So he's just stuck in the corner. And that's the fight. But now, you know, as Eggman does, he's going to steal a Master Emerald, and Knuckles is going to yell at him. There's fortunately no real way to defeat Eggman here, because I'm pretty sure I've heard that if you like mess with the game and make it he's there long enough to KO him, I think it's like you soft lock the game or something like that. So he's got a lot more HP than his normal 8 hits on this stage. But now we are going to be going to the stage that is the time for Tails to shine. For better or for worse, we're going to find out which it is. Sky Sanctuary, the other stage in this game that is only 1 act. So we have to, unfortunately, just sit here for 20 seconds while the Death Egg flies up into space. I don't know why, but yeah, so we're gonna just tumble in the sky because it's fun and it's cool. This stage is broken into sort of 3 segments, each one ending with a fight against Mechasonic. Mechasonic first is in an Eggmobile, with the Wrecking Ball from Green Hill in Sonic 1. And then later, he is in another Eggmobile with the little balloon things from Metropolis Zone in Sonic 2. And then at the end of the level, he's just fighting as Mechasonic. Let's get that guy out of here. I need Tails to come back down. Thank you, Tails. But we are going to skip 2 of those fights. We are going to only be doing the fight against Mechasonic at the very end because Tails can fly, and this stage is a very, very vertical level. I do need to be a little bit careful because of that guy, and also there's a thing coming up that can crush me if I'm not careful. I had a really, really good PB pace run into this stage. Died at getting crushed in a spot that I didn't even know you could. So I now take that part very, very carefully. But Tails so far is kind of popping off. There's really one more time for him to shine here, and it's right on over here. Gotta just wait for him to come back down. There he is. Nice. All right. Tails is wanting to put on a really good show today. So Tails popped off, and I'm very, very thankful to him. I'm going to now pop Hyperstate to celebrate because this is a very, very short segment of the stage to finish things up. And Mechasonic also doesn't really know what to do against glowing pink hedgehogs that are adorable and have tons of golden hammers. We're going to just stand in his face and chuck Pico Pico hammers, and there's no hope for him. And now we have only 1 zone left, but it is very long, very tricky. It is Eggman's signature, the Death Egg Zone. So Act 1, pretty straightforward. Act 2 is a lot scarier, but there are these little glowy dots that form platforms. That placement is very, very annoying because I usually have to just wait a while. I do want to grab the lightning shield there. All right, Tails, come on over here. Thank you, Tails. Tails is popping off today. This is not usual for him. Usually he's the master of trolling me. Jump over that missile. I can also jump off of that early and just run along that electric battery thing. and be fine because the lightning shield will protect me, and that is very, very handy. Wait for the missile to launch, get rid of that guy. I can pop Hyperstate. I'm not going to yet because of this section right here. It's actually a lot easier to hit these locks. Oh my god, I'm just missing this. No! The Tails was popping off. I just completely fumbled that. Shout out to Tails for getting the bottom 3. That was very handy. Now I'm going to pop Hyperstate. Now we've got the first of the roller coaster tracks. On both acts, I want to only take the first one of those because all of the ones after the first ones just sort of go wherever, and they're not very efficient. But now we've got Red Eye. I hope that the second phase is kind to me because these 2 platforms that spin around him can be very problematic like that. Oh my goodness. There we go. All right. 1 stage to go, but there is a fancy little screen transition after the first boss at the end of this stage. So there's kind of 2 because there's Death Egg Act 2 and then there's pretty much Death Egg Finale, which is one of my favorite fights in the entire series. Okay, I'm going to fall down here, I guess, because the platform's going to just shut off at the most inconvenient time. That is fine. This stage is very long. Also has the gimmick of anti-gravity, so those little tunnels will change if I'm running on the floor or the ceiling. I don't want to spin dash here because if I do, then I will just bonk straight into that guy and lose my lightning shield, and I want to keep my ring magnet for as long as possible. I am going to try to pop Hyperstate as early as possible because there is a spot partway through this stage that is incredibly scary. Unless you're in Hyperstate or just playing as Tails. Even if you're playing as Tails, it can be a little bit sketchy. But there are 2 seesaws. Oh, that's not good. There are 2 seesaws that are directly over bottomless pits. And they are right before a checkpoint instead of right after, which is very, very inconvenient. This one shoots late. I want to be careful here so that way I don't bonk those spikes that are on the ceiling. Run across here. I should be fine to pop Hyperstate when I want to. I'm going to just do it now for safety's sake. I can also jump there a little bit earlier. But the part with the seesaws is coming up right up here, I believe. Yeah. So I do have to tilt this just a little bit, but if they tilt too far in one direction, then they will just drop into the bottomless pit right below you and you will die. And that is very tragic because you are so far away from the previous checkpoint. It is a huge time loss, and I am so glad that you can get 50 rings before then. Now it's pretty much just running for a bit, grabbing a lightning shield towards the end and dodging these last 2 roller coasters. So if there are any final donations for this run, now is a great time.
You betcha. We have $25 from Duck Duck Noir that says, gotta go fast. And $50 from Tabby Llama saying, gotta donate for one of my favorite Sonic games. Me too. And Amy gets her time in the spotlight too. Heck yes, Snowball, you're doing an amazing job. This $50 is going towards the Breath of the Wild bonus game, which, by the way, y'all, we have less than 54,000 to go on that. You are making it happen. I've seen what you can do, and I know you can do it again. Let's go. Got time for a couple more?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That is $25 from Anonymous saying hammer time sound. I assume that that is in relation to Amy throwing the Pico Pico hammers everywhere. $250 from Doubly Magic. No comment, but thank you so much for your generosity. And $25 from Sugar C with a not a less than 3, but an actual little heart emote. So thank you for that. I didn't know we could do that. Keep showing me cool things that you can draw in there. And another $250 from C7, no comment. Thank you so much for your generosity.
All right, so we are in the Death Egg finale. This is a 3-phase boss fight. Each phase taking 8 hits. time is not immediately after the final hit on the third phase. Time will be after the screen fully fades to white, so I will be calling out for that. Now we've got the second phase where Eggman is going to chase after us in the Death Egg robot and fire huge laser beams from the Master Emerald and also shoot fire out of his nose. I don't think that's meant to happen. I think he should get that checked out. Tails, unfortunately, has dropped into the abyss, but fortunately he is back to help get a little, hopefully an extra hit right off the bat. Now we just have the escape sequence, and then that is it. Eggman is trying to get away with the Master Emerald. 4, 5. I think I'm counting right. 6, 7. Good job, Tails. 8. And time.
Amazing job, Snowball. That was incredible.
34-33 is my fastest run in a marathon by 2.5 minutes. So I am very, very happy with that. Real quick shout outs before signing off. Shout outs to GDQ for letting me show off Sonic Origins, one of my favorite categories and one of my favorite games that I've run. And oh, I'm so happy that Amy got some of the stage spotlight this time around. Shout outs to the Sonic Origins speedrunning community and the Classic Sonic speedrunning community for being super, super supportive and just really, really awesome. Shout outs to all my friends over at Fast Pace Events, or FPE, for giving me so many super cool opportunities. Shout outs to, I've got to shout them out. Shout outs to the Super Monkey Ball Banana era speedrunning community. Yeah, you know who you are. All super, super awesome people and just really, really supportive. Shameless plug, you can find me on Twitch, YouTube, and Blue Sky, all at SnowballSMB. I like to play a lot of Sonic. I also like to play a lot of Monkey Ball. I also sometimes play indie games, and it's always a lot of fun. Also, shout outs to everyone here. You're all awesome. And shout outs to everyone watching at home, donating, watching, all of that. These could not happen without you, and just everyone watching, whether you're here or at home, just makes the event so much more special. Thanks again, GDQ, for having me. This was a huge honor and so, so much fun.